Okay, hello. So, firstly, before anything, I will most definitely be reading from this because I have a lot that I want to say. Like, literally, this document is like 4 pages long and it's got like word for word. And if I don't read it, I will most definitely mess up, and the message that I want to get across is very important. So, forgive me. I couldn't put off putting this out, and I literally just wrote this, so yeah, bear with me. Okay, cool. So I have something really exciting that I want to share today. But before I reveal my newborn baby to all of you guys, I would like to take this opportunity to first tell my story. This part is really important to me, and it is going to make this video like pretty long. We're probably looking at about 15 minutes. But I feel that this part is really important because I found that most of the startup and business stories that get the most airtime in the world are the ones where the founders knew exactly what they wanted to do, they started their business, and within a year or two it was a crazy success. That's the story that everybody tells. This is not my story though, not by a long shot. So this entire video was inspired by my talk at Future Females. Originally, the announcement that I'm going to make towards the end of this video was just going to be a post on my Instagram. But the Future Females talk was the first time that I really looked at my journey sort of in chronological order, and I put it all down on paper. And when I did that, it kind of made me realize how monumental this moment is, and that it really deserves to be documented. If not for other entrepreneurs out there, then just for me and my own journey, and for me to look back at in like 20 years time. So I'm going to be giving you kind of like the highlight reel version of my entrepreneurial life, because there are so many other factors that played a role in who and what I am today. Some of which I will get into hopefully in future content, but it includes like some really shady ass experiences and a very dark time of my life in my sort of early 20s, late teens. But then it also includes like an incredible and absolutely loving relationship that I had with the most amazing human being who encouraged me to chase my dreams and loved me unconditionally. Also, my mother contributed to my journey in a big way. So yeah, this is kind of just like the highlight version. So I'm 28 and I've been trying to build something real, something impactful, and something on my own for as long as I can remember. My journey was by no means a quick one. And I have so many interests that it took me years of trial and error, playing around, working for free, experimenting, exploring, and most importantly, failing to get to a final product. A final product and business model that I was only able to truly conceptualize and implement in 2020. And it's only now starting to come to life, beginning with this video, I guess. When I was 12, I started my first business looking after toddlers at the Holistic Fair and Observatory in Cape Town, while my dad looked after massage clients. He also had some aromatherapy clients at this Holistic Fair, which took place at, I think it's at the Arts Community Center. So I collected old toys from family members. I set up like a small little playpen, and the parents who were browsing the market could leave their kids with me, and I charged them by the hour, and I looked after their children. This was a business because I had to pay rent and I had many other expenses, all of which my dad helped me kind of work out at the end of it was like the last or the first Sunday of every month. So my dad really helped me a lot with that. Between then and now, I've started and failed at 3 formalized businesses, but I've probably tanked more than a dozen side hustles and projects. These include a podcast that I hosted between 2015 and 2018 called The Mashup that focused on local music. I had Sky Classifieds in the early 2010s, which used Facebook, Twitter, and BBM to sell secondhand goods on behalf of other people at a commission. These were predominantly cars and car parts, but I did sell other stuff like GHDs and cell phones and honestly whatever I could get my hands on. This was way before Facebook Marketplace was even a concept that people thought possible, and the idea of using social media to sell stuff like this was pretty revolutionary, even if I do say so myself. I've also hosted my fair share of car events and like breakfast runs, lol, for that period in my life, but also shout out to everyone who's been supporting me since then and like been in my life because of that. Love you guys forever and a day. I did influencer marketing before Instagram even existed. I used BBM and people with large BBM sort of contact lists to spread awareness about the products that I had for sale and events and projects that I was working on. Then around 2011, I started conceptualizing, hosting, and implementing a range of like club events. And then I was moved into the underground, so sort of underground electronic music scene in Cape Town. This was before drum and bass, dubstep, and trap music were even like the household genres that they are today. I was one of Bootlegger Coffee Company's first ever employees, starting with them in November of 2013. And by 2015, I was working in the head office side by side the directors. I then left to do a long stint of waitressing while I was trying to like hustle and build my dreams. Then in 2016, I had a big fancy launch for Shakira Sky, which was meant to be a PR company that focused on doing public relations, particularly for artists and musicians. I hit my head pretty hard with this one. I lost clients faster than I gained them, and I took on jobs that I was way too experienced to handle. Then towards the end of 2016 was when my life started to sort of take shape, I guess. I was approached by Maggie Mutangiri, who is an incredible friend to me right now, and an amazing businesswoman. She's doing incredible things in the virtual reality travel space. Her company is called Travel Africa Network. Please do check her out. She wanted to do South Africa's first ever cocktail week, which was based on the concept of the London Cocktail Week. And so I came on board initially as the media and PR person, but quickly became Maggie's partner. And I did that for 2 years. We implemented SA Cocktail in 2016 and 2017. 2017, it was absolutely amazing. I can't believe that we pulled off something so great with such a small team. This was where my eyes to business, sponsorship, and all of that kind of stuff really opened, even though I had been dabbling in this since like 2010 when I studied public relations at CBUT. While I was working with Maggie and on SA Cocktail Week, I was also doing like a range of side projects, some of which included working at concerts at the stadium, which I did for a number of years before and post that. I also continued to do like club events. I was doing a lot of other stuff, working with artists, etc. And this is important to mention because I always wanted to work with artists. I've always had a love and an attraction to the creative industry. And I particularly found this out when I was doing my internship, which was around 2012, because this was where I really started to get introduced to the business world. And I hated seeing how corporates were ignoring the super talented pool of creatives that we had in Cape Town, just because it was easier for them to work with their outdated ass they've been working with since the 80s. Like I couldn't understand it, because the work that was being produced was like, it just wasn't it, you know? And then in 2017, I co-founded that network with my business partner in that business. And it's kind of been a whirlwind ever since then. The brand started out as being a blog and a media hub focused on raising the profiles of local artists who were incredible but were just not getting the exposure that they deserved. And so now, almost 4 years later, we facilitate growth within the creative community by connecting clients to artists and doing a range of training and development work. We have a YouTube channel that focuses on creating educational content for creatives. And pre-pandemic, we had started going into communities to host workshops, focus groups, and other activations that was intended to teach creatives how to turn their talents into careers. I personally believe that the arts sector is a great way to contribute to economic growth in the country. But I'm unsure if government has the capabilities to tap into that, because if they did, they would have done it already. So our focus here is on teaching, particularly creatives of color, how to use their art to make money. Artists often ask me if I'll manage them, and I don't want to manage artists. This was also something that I learned on my journey of trial and error, because I want us to teach artists how to see opportunity around them. Because as they say, if you give a man a fish, you'll feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you'll feed him for a lifestyle. I'll be honest though, doing this kind of work, as much as it fulfills me and gives me life and feeds my soul, it doesn't always pay the bills. But I know that it will one day, and I know that the work that we do is important. So we continue to push, even though it's taken us 3 years just to properly conceptualize the business model and to find a team of people who are willing to bring this vision to life with us and who believe in what we're trying to do. I was always doing public relations and social media management, if you haven't already picked it up, in my personal capacity, however, so under my own name. Because unlike our arts business, this actually does make money. A lot of which goes back into running training and development opportunities within the arts sector. In 2019, the demand for my digital expertise became so great that I was forced to seriously start thinking about formalizing my communications business. I fought this for a very long time because there was a part of me that felt like formalizing this business would mean that I was giving up on my dream of using the arts to make a difference. And as creative purists do, talking about myself, I felt like I was being a sellout. But I'm going to say here what I say to people all the time who ask me why I don't start an NGO. I believe that when you want to make a difference, you need to make sure that you are good before you can help anyone else. And there's no shame in that. You can't feed people when you're hungry. You can't help people if you're tired. And you can't dedicate your best self to your mission if you are always worrying about paying your bills and if you don't have money to do so. And there is no shame in making money and helping people. It does not have to be a trade-off. Accepting that this doesn't have to be a trade-off was a really hard pill for me to swallow. And it took many mentors, business coaches, and loved ones to convince me that I should start a communications agency. And so I finally did. In 2020, TN Communications was born. That network communications inspired by my arts business. And now we offer a range of services from Google Ads to social media management, content creation, webinars, etc. To an absolutely beautiful list of clients. And while it may not be all of our clients, many of them do focus on work within the social development and social justice space. And this is important to us, and I would love to build a larger repertoire of clients who do this kind of work, because everything that I do has always had the aim of contributing to social and economic growth within the African continent. When I realized that I could achieve this one goal of social and economic growth on the African continent with both my businesses, a whole new world opened up for me. We're getting to the good stuff now, I promise. This is where I finally found my purpose. Okay, so now I know that all of this sounds like a lot, and you're probably wondering, Shakira, what is the point of you telling us all of this stuff? And what is this announcement that I want to make? Well, I kind of already made it. It's the fact that I finally have direction and a clear business model and an understanding of what it is that I want to do and want to achieve in the world. This is a big deal for me because it's taken me 10 years to figure out what my business is. And that's all I really want to share. That some people know they want to sell jewelry. They start a jewelry business and it booms. And that's what they do for 35 years, sometimes 150 years, and they pass it down from generation to generation. But that's not the only path to entrepreneurship. And I'm tired, to be honest, of it being promoted as the only path, or it being the only types of stories that get any sort of airtime in the world. Sometimes you need to walk among snakes, you need to lose your savings, you need to waitress for way too long, and you need to dabble in a million different things before finding yourself. And now that I've finally found myself and figured out myself, I would like to introduce that to you. I would like to formally introduce the world to TN Enterprises, a social enterprise that aims to contribute to economic growth and social development on the African continent. starting with South Africa. It's currently the holding company that houses my arts business, that network, and TN Communications, my digital communications agency. And if I'm being truthful, in the future, it will probably house many other different kinds of businesses. Because I've come to realize that I'm not in business to be in one industry. I'm in business to serve one purpose. And I can achieve that purpose by doing many different types of things. And that's the reason I wanted to share this whole long ass story with you. Because I'm so excited and proud to finally have clear direction and a business model that makes sense. After so long, after hustling since 12, officially I guess since university. And that's all I really wanted to share with you. Because even though I've been in this business thing, this is only just the beginning. And after years of floating and letting life happen to me, I'm finally in a position to, number one, own my story, own my journey, and most importantly, take control of my future and to drive it to where I want it to be, which was not something that I ever had in the past. And so that's pretty much it. I didn't really think about a proper ending to this video, so I really just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch it, for listening to my story, and then for being a part of this very special, close to my heart, unveiling and birthing and introduction, because I can't believe I'm finally here. And I really just want to say to all of you out there who are trying to build a business but don't really know what it is that you want to do yet, I just want to remind you to keep going, to fail forward, and to trust yourself. Because even if it doesn't feel like it now, even if you feel all over the place, I promise you that if you keep trying, it really will all come together for you. Okay. Thank you so much, guys.